I don't stand a chance. Anyway, so just a brief synopsis about All's Well That Ends Well. Set in France and Italy, All's Well That Ends Well is a story of one-sided romance based on a tale from Boccaccio's The Decameron. Helen, the orphan daughter of a doctor, is under the protection of the widowed Countess of Roussillon. In love with Bertram, the Countess's son, Helen follows him to court where she cures the sick French king of an apparently fatal illness. Then she has a plan, and the king rewards Helen by offering her the husband of her choice. She names Bertram. He resists, and when forced by the king to marry her, he refuses to sleep with her, and accompanied by the braggart Parolles, leaves for the Italian wars. He says that he will only accept Helen if she obtains a ring from his finger and becomes pregnant with his child. As she goes to Italy disguised as a pilgrim and suggests a bed trick, which we've seen in Measure for Measure, the trick of one woman's in another place of another, whereby she will take the place of Diana, a widow's daughter, whom Bertram is trying to seduce. The bed trick enables Helen to fulfill Bertram's conditions, leaving him no option but to marry her to his mother's delight. That is the synopsis. So sit back and enjoy.
Okay, All's Well That Ends Well. Enter Bertram, the Countess of Roussillon, Helena, and Lefeu, all in black. They come down from the inner stage, the Countess sitting by the left column.
In delivering my son from me, I bury a second husband.
And I, in going, madam, we bore my father's death anew. But I must attend his majesty's command, to whom I am now in ward, evermore in subjection.
You shall find of the king a husband, madam, you, sir, a father.
What hope is there of his majesty's amendment?
He hath abandoned his physicians, madam, under whose practices he hath persecuted time with hope, and finds no other advantage in the process, but only the losing of hope by time.
This young gentlewoman had a father. Oh, that had! How sad a passage 'tis! Would for the king's sake he were living. I think it would be the death of the king's disease.
Who called you the man you speak of, madam?
He was famous in his profession, Gerard de Narbonne.
He was excellent indeed, madam. The king very lately spoke of him admiringly and mourningly. Was this gentlewoman the daughter of Gerard de Narbonne?
His sole child, my lord, and bequeathed to my overlooking. I have those hopes of her good that her education promises, her dispositions she inherits, which makes fair gifts fairer.
Your commendations, madam, get from her tears.
'Tis the best brine a maiden can season her praise in. No more of this. Helena, go to, no more, lest it be rather thought you affect a sorrow than have it.
I do affect a sorrow indeed, but I have it too.
Moderate lamentation is the right of the dead, excessive grief the enemy to the living.
Madam, I desire your holy wishes.
Be thou blessed, Bertram, and succeed thy father in manners as in shape. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. Be able for thine enemy rather in power than use, and keep thy friend under thy own life's key. Be checked for silence, but never taxed for speech. What heaven more will, that thee may furnish, and my prayers pluck down, fall on thy head. Farewell, my lord. 'Tis an unseasoned courtier. Good my lord, advise him.
He cannot want the best. Thou shalt attend his love.
Bertram.
The best wishes that can be forged in your thoughts be servants to you. Be comfortable to my mother, your mistress, and make much of her.
Farewell, pretty lady. You must hold the credit of your father.
Oh, were that all? I think not on my father. And these great tears grace his remembrance more than those I shed for him. What was he like? I forgot him. My imagination carries no favor in it but Bertram's. I am undone. There is no living, none, if Bertram be away. 'Twere all one that I should love a bright particular star and think to wed it. He is so above me. Who comes here?
Scene 2, enter Paralis, pausing in the doorway at left, looking back.
One that goes with him. I love him for his sake, yet I know him a notorious liar. Think him a great way fool, solely a coward. Yet these fixed evils sit so fit in him, that they take place when virtue's steely bones look bleak in the cold wind.
Save you, fair queen.
And you, monarch?
No.
And no.
Are you meditating on virginity?
Aye, you have some stain of soldier in you. Let me ask you a question. Man is enemy to virginity. How may we Ricardo it against him?
Keep him out.
But he assails our virginity, though valiant in the defense, yet is weak. Unfold to us some warlike resistance.
There is none. Man sitting down before you will undermine you and blow you up.
Bless our poor virginity from underminers and blowers up. Is there no military policy how virgins might blow up men?
It is not politic in the commonwealth of nature to preserve virginity. Loss of virginity is rational increase, and there was never virgin got till virginity was first lost. Virginity, by being once lost, may be 10 times found. By being ever kept, it is ever lost. 'Tis too cold a companion. Away with it.
I will stand for it a little, though therefore I die a virgin.
There's little can be said in it. 'Tis against the rule of nature. To speak on the part of virginity is to accuse your mothers, which is most infallible disobedience. Will you anything with it?
Not my virginity yet. You are of the court. There shall your master have 1,000 lovers, a mother and a mistress and a friend. Now shall he, I know not what he shall. God sent him well. The court's a learning place, and he is one.
What faith I faith?
That I wish him well. 'Tis pity.
What's pity?
That wishing well had not a body in it, which might be felt that we, the poor born, whose baser stars do shut us up in wishes, might with effects of them follow our friends, and show what we almost must think, which never returns us thanks.
Monsieur Paralis, my lord calls for you.
Little Helen, farewell. If I can remember thee, I will think of thee at court.
Monsieur Paralis, you were born under a charitable star.
Under Mars, I.
I especially think under Mars.
Why under Mars?
The wars have so kept you under that you must needs be born under Mars.
When he was predominant.
When he was retrograde, I think.
Why think you so?
You go so much backward when you fight.
That's for advantage.
So is running away when fear proposes the safety.
Farewell. When thou hast leisure, say thy prayers. When thou hast money, remember thy friends. Get thee a good husband and use him as he uses thee. So farewell.
Our remedies oft in ourselves do lie, which we ascribe to heaven, the fated sky. Give us free scope, only doth backward pull our slow designs when we ourselves are dull. The king's disease, my project may deceive me, but my intents are fixed and will not leave me.
Scene 3, enter Countess, Steward, and Clown.
I will now hear, what say you of this gentlewoman?
Madam, the care I have had to even your content, I wish might be found in the calendar of my past endeavors.
What does this knave here? Get you gone, Sirrah. The complaints I have heard of you I do not all believe. 'Tis my slowness that I do not. For I know you lack not folly to commit them, and have ability enough to make such knaveries yours. Get you gone, sir. I'll talk with you more anon.
May it please you, madam, that he bid Helen come to you. Of her I am to speak.
Sirrah, tell my gentlewoman I would speak with her. Helen, I mean. You'll be gone, Sir Knave, and do as I command you.
That man should be at woman's command, and yet not no hurt done. I am going, forsooth. The business is for Helen to come hither.
Well now.
I know, madam, you love your gentlewoman entirely.
Faith, I do.
Madam, I was very late, more near her than I think she wished me. Alone she was, and did communicate herself her own words to her own ears. Her matter was, she loved your son. Fortune, she said, was no goddess that had put such difference betwixt their two estates, which I held my duty speedily to acquaint you withal. Sithence, in the loss that may happen, it concerns you something to know it.
You have discharged this honestly. Keep it to yourself. I will speak with you further anon. Even so, it was with me when I was young. It is the show and seal of nature's truth when love's strong passion is impressed in youth by our remembrances of days foregone. Such were our faults, or then we thought them none. Her eye is sick on it. I observe her now.
What is your pleasure, madam?
You know, Helen, I am a mother to you.
Mine honorable mistress.
Nay, a mother. Why not a mother? When I said a mother, methinks you saw a serpent. What's in a mother? That you start at it. I say, I am your mother. God's mercy, maiden, does it curd thy blood to say I am thy mother? What's the matter? That this distempered messenger of wet, the many-colored iris, rounds thine eyes. Why? That you are my daughter?
That I am not.
I say I am your mother.
You are my mother, madam. Would you were, so that my lord your son were not my brother, indeed my mother? Or were you both our mothers? I care no more for than I do for heaven. Though I were not his sister, can't no other, but I, your daughter, he must not be my brother.
Yes, Helen, you might be my daughter-in-law. God shield, you mean it not? Daughter and mother so strive upon your pulse. What, pale again? My fear hath catched your fondness. Now I see the mystery of your loneliness, and find your salt tears head. Now to all sense 'tis gross. You love my son. Invention is ashamed against the proclamation of thy passion to say thou dost not. Therefore tell me true. But tell me then 'tis so, for look, thy cheeks confess it, the one to the other. Speak, is it so? If it be so, you have wound a goodly clue. If it be not, forswear it. However, I charge thee, and heaven shall work me for thine avail, to tell me truly.
Good madam, pardon me.
Do you love my son?
Your pardon, madam.
Love you my son?
Do not you love him, madam?
Go not about. My love hath in it a bond, whereof the world takes note. Come, disclose the state of your affection, for your passions have to the full appeached.
Then I confess here on my knee, before high heaven and you, that before you and next unto high heaven, I love your son. My friends were poor but honest, so's my love. Be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved of me. I follow him not, but by any token of presumptuous suit, nor would I have him till I do deserve him, yet never know how that desert should be. I know I love in vain, strive against hope, yet in this captious and intendable sieve, I will pour in the waters of my love, and lack not to lose it still. Thus, Indian-like, religious in mine error, I adore the sun that looks upon his worshipper, but knows of him no more. My dearest madam, let not your hate encounter with my love, for loving where you do. But if yourself, whose aged honor cites a virtuous youth, did ever in so true a flame of liking with chastely and wish chastely and love dearly that your Diane was both herself and love. Oh, then give pity to her whose state is such that cannot choose, but lend and give where she is sure to lose, that seeks not to find that her search implies, but riddle-like lives sweetly where she dies.
Had you not lately an intent, speak truly, to go to Paris?
Madam, I had.
Wherefore? Tell me.
I will tell truth, by grace itself, I swear. You know, my father left me some prescriptions of rare and proved effects, such as his reading and manifest experience had collected for general sovereignty. Amongst the rest, there is a remedy, approved, set down to cure the desperate languishings whereof the king is rendered lost.
This was your motive for Paris, was it? Speak.
My lord, your son made me think of this. Else Paris and the medicine and the king had from my conversation of thoughts happily been absent.
But think you, Helen, if you should tender your supposed aid, he would receive it.
There's something in it. More than my father's skill, which was the greatest of his profession, and his good receipt shall for my legacy be sanctified by the luckiest stars of heaven, and would by the luckiest stars in heaven, and would your honor but give me leave to try success, I'd venture the well-lost life of mine on his grace's cure by such a day and hour.
Dost thou believe it?
Aye, madam, knowingly.
Why, Helen, thou shalt have my leave and love, means and attendance, and my loving greetings to those of mine in court. I'll stay at home and pray God's blessing into thy attempt. Be gone tomorrow, and be sure of this. What I can help thee to, thou shalt not miss.
Scene 4, flourish of cornets. Inner curtains open, the king, attended, is discovered, an invalid, seated at center. Young lords taking leave for the Florentine War. Bertram and Parolles.
Farewell, young lords. These warlike principles do not throw from you, and you, my lords, farewell.
'Tis our hope, sir, after well-entered soldiers, to return and find your grace in health.
No, it cannot be. And yet my heart will not confess he owes the malady that doth my life besiege. Farewell, young lords. Whether I live or die, be you the sons of worthy Frenchmen. Let higher Italy see that you come not to woo honor, but to wed it. I say farewell.
Health, at your bidding, serve your majesty.
Those girls of Italy, take heed of them. They say our French lack language to deny if they demand. Beware of being captives before you serve.
Our hearts receive your warnings.
Farewell. Come hither to me.
Oh, my sweet lord, that you will stay behind us.
'Tis not his fault, the spark.
Oh, 'tis brave wars.
Most admirable. I have seen those wars.
I'm commanded here and kept a coil with too young, and the next year, and 'tis too early. By heaven, I'll steal away.
There's honor in the theft.
Commit it, Count.
I am your accessory, and so farewell.
I grow to you, and our parting is a tortured body.
Farewell, Captain.
Sweet Monsieur Parolles.
Noble heroes, my sword and yours are kin. Good sparks and lustrous, a word, good medals. You shall find in the regiment of the Spinae one Captain Spirio, with his cicatrice, an emblem of war, here on his sinister cheek. It was this very sword entrenched it. Say to him, I live, and observe his reports for me.
We shall, noble captain.
Mars dote on you for this novices. Use a more spacious ceremony to the noble lords, after them, and take a more dilated farewell.
And I will do so.
Worthy fellows, and like to prove most sinewy swordmen.
Scene 5, inner curtains opens, enter Lefeu, right.
Pardon, my lord, for me and my tidings.
I'll fee thee to stand up.
Then here's a man stands that has brought his pardon. I would you had kneeled, my lord, to ask me mercy, and that at my biddings you could so stand up.
I would I had, so I had broke thy pate and asked thee mercy for't.
Good faith across. But my good lord, 'tis thus. Will you be cured of your infirmity?
No.
Oh, will you eat no grapes, my royal fox? Yes, but you will, my noble grapes. And if my royal fox could reach them, I have seen a medicine that's able to breathe life into a stone, quicken a rock, and make you dance canary with sparkly fire and motion. I have spoke with one that in her sex, her years, profession, wisdom, and constancy hath amazed me more than I dare blame my weakness. Will you see her?
Now, good Lafleur, bring in the admiration.
Nay, I'll fit for you, and not be all day neither.
Thus he his special nothing ever prologues.
Nay, come your ways.
Oh, this haste hath wings indeed.
Nay, come your ways. This is his majesty. Say your mind to him. A traitor you do look like, but such traitors his majesty seldom fears. I am Cressid's uncle that dare leave you two together. Fare you well.
Now, fair one, does your business follow us?
Aye, my good lord. Gerard de Narbonne was my father, and when he did profess, well found.
I knew him.
Rather will I spare my praises towards him, knowing him is enough. On his bed of death, many receipts he gave me, chiefly one, which as the dearest issue of his practice, he bade me store up as a triple eye, and hearing your high majesty is touched with that malignant cause wherein the honor of my dear father's gift stands chief in power, I came to tender it and my appliance with all bound humbleness.
We thank you, maiden, but may not be so credulous of cure. Thou thought'st to help me, and such thanks I give as one near death to those that wish him live. But what at full I know, thou know'st no part. I knowing all my peril, thou no art.
What I can do can do no hurt to try.
I must not hear thee. Fare thee well, kind maid.
Dear sir, to my endeavors give consent. Of heaven, not me, make an experiment. My art is not past power, nor you past cure.
Art thou so confident? Within what space hopest thou my cure?
The greatest grace, lending grace, ere twice the horse of the sun shall bring, their fiery torture his diurnal ring, ere twice in murk and occidental damp, moist Hesperus hath quenched his sleepy lamp. What is infirm from your sound parts shall fly, health shall live free, and sickness freely die.
Upon thy certainty and confidence, what darest thou venture?
Tax of impudence, a strumpet's boldness, a divulged shame, traduced by odious ballads, my maiden's name, swear it otherwise, nay, worse. If worse, extended with vilest torture, let my life be ended.
Methinks in thee some blessed spirit doth speak. Sweet practicer, thy physic I will try, that ministers thine own death, if I die.
If I break time, or flinch in property of what I spoke, unpitied let me die, and well deserved, not helping death's my fee. But if I help, what do you promise me?
Make thy demand.
What, will you make it even?
I, by my scepter and my hopes of heaven.
Then shalt thou give me with thy kingly hand what husband in thy power I will command. Exempt be from me the arrogance to choose from forth the royal blood of France, but such a one, my vassal, whom I know is free for me to ask, thee to bestow.
Here is my hand. The premises observed, thy will by my performance shall be served. Give me some help here, ho! If thou proceed as high as word, my deed shall match thy meed.
Scene 6. Enter Countess and Clown.
Come on, sir. I shall now put you to the height of your breeding.
I will show myself highly fed and lowly taught. I know my business is but to the court.
To the court! Why, what place makes you special when you put off that with such contempt, but to the court?
Truly, madam, if God have lent a man any manners, he may easily put it off at court. He that cannot make a leg put off a cap, kiss his hand, and say nothing, has neither leg, hand, lips, nor cap. But for me, I have an answer, will serve all men.
Mary, that's a bountiful answer that fits all questions.
It is like a barber's chair that fits all buttocks.
An end, sir, to your business. Give Helen this, and urge her to a present answer back. Commend me to my kinsman and my son. You understand me?
Most fruitfully, I am before my legs.
Haste you again.
Scene 7. Enter Bertram, LeFeu, and Parles.
They say miracles are past, and we have our philosophical persons to make modern and familiar things supernatural and causeless, which should indeed give us a further use to be made than alone the recovery of the king, as to be generally thankful.
I would have said it. You say well. Here comes the king.
Enter on the inner stage the king with Helena and attendants.
Lustig, as the Dutchman says. I'll like a maid, the better. Whilst I have a tooth in my head, why, he's able to lead her a coronet.
Morta Vinaye. Is not this Helen?
For God, I think so.
Go, call before me all the lords in court. Sit, my preserver, by thy patient side, and with this healthful hand, whose banished sense thou hast repealed, a second time receive the confirmation of my promised gift, which but attends thy naming.
Enter 3 or 4 lords.
Fair maid, send forth thine eye. This youthful parcel of noble bachelors stand at my bestowing, or whom both sovereign power and father's voice I have to use. Thy frank election make. Thou hast power to choose, and they none to forsake. Peruse them well. Not one of those but had a noble father.
Gentlemen, heaven hath through me restored the king to health.
We understand it and thank heaven for you.
I am a simple maid, and therein wealthiest, that I protest I simply am a maid. Please it your majesty, I have done already. The blushes on my cheeks thus whisper me, we blush that thou shouldest choose, but be refused, let the white death sit on thy cheek forever. We'll ne'er come there again.
Make choice and see, who shuns thy love shuns all his love in me.
Now, Diane, from thy altar do I fly. Sir, will you hear my suit?
And grant it.
Thanks, sir. All the rest is mute.
I had rather be in this choice than throw a messes for my life.
The honor, sir, that flames in your fair eyes before I speak, too threateningly replies.
Do they all deny her? And they were sons of mine, I'd have them whipped.
Be not afraid that I your hand should take, blessing upon your vows, and in your bed find fairer fortune if you ever wed.
These boys are boys of ice. They'll none have her. Sure, they are bastards to the English, and the French ne'er got 'em.
You are too young, too happy, and too good to make yourselves a son out of my blood.
Fair one, I think not so.
Oh, there's one grape yet. I am sure thy father drank wine.
I dare not say I take you, but I give me and my service, ever whilst I live, into your guiding power. This is my man.
Why then, young Bertram, take her, she's thy wife.
My wife, my liege? I shall beseech your highness, in such a business, give me leave to use the help of mine own eyes.
Know'st thou not, Bertram, what she has done for me?
Yes, my good lord, but never hope to know why I should marry her.
Thou know'st she has raised me from my sickly bed.
But it follows, my lord, to bring me down must answer for your raising. I know her well. She had her breeding in my father's charge. A poor physician's daughter, my wife? Disdain rather corrupt me ever.
'Tis only title thou disdainst in her, the which I can build up. If she be all that is virtuous, save what thou dislikest, a poor physician's daughter, thou dislikest of virtue for the name, but do not so. The property by what it is should go, not by the title. She is young, wise, fair. In these to nature she's immediate heir, and these breed honor. What should be said? If thou canst like this creature as a maid, I can create the rest. Virtue and she is her own dower, honor and wealth from me.
I cannot love her, nor will strive to do it.
Thou wrong'st thyself if thou shouldst strive to choose.
That you are well restored, my lord. I'm glad. Let the rest go.
My honor's at the stake, which to defeat I must produce my power. Here, take her hand, proud scornful boy. Check thy contempt. Obey our will, which travails in thy good, or I will throw thee from my care forever into the staggers and the careless lapse of youth and ignorance, both my revenge and hate loosing upon thee in the name of justice without all terms of pity. Speak thy answer.
Pardon, my gracious lord, for I submit my fancy to your eyes, when I consider what great creation and what dole of honor flies where you bid it. I find that she, which late was in my nobler thoughts, most base, is now the praised of the king, who, so ennobled, is as 'twere born so.
Take her by the hand, and tell her she is thine, to whom I promise a counterpoise, if not to thy estate, a balance more replete.
I take her hand.
Good fortune and the favor of the king smile upon this contract, whose ceremony and be performed tonight. As thou lovest her, thy love's to me religious, else does err.
Exit all but Lafeu and Parolles.
Do you hear, monsieur? A word with you.
Your pleasure, sir.
Your word and master did well to make his recantation.
Recantation? My lord, my master.
Aye, it is not a language I speak.
A most harsh one, and not to be understood without bloody succeeding. My master!
Are you companion to the Count Roussillon?
To any count, to all counts, to what is man?
To what is Count's man? Count's master is of another style.
You are too old, sir. Let it satisfy you. You are too old.
I must tell thee, Sirrah, I write man, to which title age cannot bring.
Hadst thou not the privilege of antiquity upon thee?
Parolles half draws his sword. Lafeu shifts his staff into his right hand. Parolles retreats.
Do not plunge thyself too far in anger, lest thou hasten thy trial. So, my good window of lattice, fare thee well. Thy casement I need not open, for I look through thee.
My lord, you do me most insupportable vexation.
I would it were hell pains for thy sake, and my poor doing eternal. For doing I am past, as I will by thee, in what motion age will give me a leave.
Well, thou hast a son shall take this disgrace off me, scurvy old filthy scurvy lord. Well, I must be patient. There is no fettering of authority. I'll beat him by my life if I can meet him with any convenience, and he were double and double a lord.
Re-enter Bertram.
Undone and forfeited to cares forever.
What's the matter, sweetheart?
Although before the solemn priest I have sworn I will not bed her.
What? What, sweetheart?
Oh, my Parolles, they have married me. I'll to the Tuscan wars and never bed her.
France is a dog hole, and it no more merits the tread of a man's foot. To the wars! France is a stable, we that dwell in it, jades. Therefore, to the wars!
It shall be so. I'll send her to my house, acquaint my mother with my hate to her, and wherefore I am fled.
Will this capriccio hold in thee, art sure?
I'll send her straight away. Tomorrow I'll to the wars, she to her single sorrow.
Why, these balls bound, there's noise in it. 'Tis hard a young man married is a man that's marred.
Ah, here comes my clog.
Scene 8. Enter Helena and the clown.
I have, sir, as I was commanded from you, spoke with the king and have procured his leave for present parting. Only he desired some private speech with you.
I shall obey his will. You must not marvel, Helen, at my course. Prepared I was not for such a business, therefore am I found so much unsettled. This drives me to entreat you that presently you take your way for home. 'Twill be 2 days ere I shall go see you, so I leave you to your wisdom.
Sir, I can nothing say, but that I am your most obedient servant,
Come, no more of that.
and ever shall, with true observance, seek to eke out that wherein toward me my homely stars have failed to equal my great fortune.
Let that go. My haste is very great. Farewell. Hie home.
Pray, sir, your pardon.
What would you say?
I'm not worthy of the wealth I owe, no dare I say 'tis mine, and yet it is. But like a timorous thief, most fain would steal, what law does vouch mine own?
What would you have?
Something, and scarce so much. Nothing, indeed. I would not tell you what I would, my lord. Faith, yes, strangers and foes do sunder, and not kiss.
I pray you, stay not, but in haste to horse.
I shall not break your bidding, good my lord. Where are my other men? Monsieur, farewell.
Go thou toward home, where I will never come, whilst I can shake my sword or hear the drum. Away, and for our flight.
Bravely, Correggio.
Scene 9. Enter Countess and Clown.
It hath happened all as I would have had it, save that he comes not along with her. Let me see what he writes, and when he means to come home.
I have no mind to Isbel since I was at court. Our Isbels or the country are nothing like your Isbels or the court. The brains of my cupids knock out, and I begin to love as old man loves money with no stomach.
What have we here?
In that you have there.
I have sent you a daughter-in-law. She hath recovered the king and undone me. I have wedded her, not bedded her, and sworn to make the not eternal. You shall hear I am run away. Know it before the report come. If there be breadth enough in the world, I will hold a long distance my duty to you, your unfortunate son, Bertram. This is not well. Rash and unbridled boy, to fly the favors of so good a king? To pluck his indignation on thy head by the misprizing of a maid too virtuous for the contempt of empire.
Scene 10. Enter Helena with Lord Dumaine and Captain Dumaine.
Save you, good madam.
Madam, my lord is gone, forever gone.
Do not say so.
Think upon patience. Pray you, gentlemen, I have felt so many quirks of joy and grief. The first face of neither on the start can woman me unto it. Where is my son, I pray you?
Madam, he's gone to serve the Duke of Florence.
Look on his letter, madam. Here's my passport. And thou canst get the ring upon my finger, which never shall come off, and show me a child begotten of thy body that I am father to, then call me husband. But in such a then I write a never. This is a dreadful sentence.
Brought you this letter, gentlemen?
Aye, madam.
I prithee, lady, have a better cheer. He was my son, but I do wash his name out of my blood, and thou art all my child. Towards Florence is he?
Aye, madam.
And to be a soldier?
Such is his noble purpose.
Till I have no wife, I have nothing in France.
Find you that there?
Aye, madam.
Nothing in France until he have no wife? There's nothing here that is too good for him, but only she. Who was with him?
A servant only, and a gentleman, which I have sometime known.
Parolles, was it not?
Aye, my good lady, he.
A very tainted fellow, and full of wickedness. My son corrupts a well-derived nature with his inducement. You're welcome, gentlemen. I will entreat you when you see my son to tell him that his sword can never win the honor that he loses.
We serve you, madam.
Not so, but as we change our courtesies, will you draw near?
Scene 11.
I have no wife, I have nothing in France. Nothing in France until he has no wife. Thou shalt have none, Roussillon, none in France. Then hast thou all again. Poor Lord, is it I that chased thee from thy country and exposed those tender limbs of thine to the event of the non-sparring war? And is it I that drive thee from the sportive court where thou wast shot at with the fair eyes to be the mark of smoky muskets? Oh, you leaden messengers that ride upon the violent speed of fire, fly with false limb, move the still peering air that sings with piercing. Do not touch my lord. Whoever shoots at him, I set him there. Whoever charges on his forward breast, I am the caitiff that do hold him to it. And though I kill him not, I am the cause. His death was so affected better twere that all the miseries which nature owes were mine at once. No, come thou home, Roussillon. I will be gone. A pitiful rumor may report my flight. To consult thy ear, come night, end day, for with the dark, poor thief, I steal away.
Scene 12. Flourish. Inner curtains open. The Duke of Florence, Bertram, Parolles, soldiers, drum and trumpets. The general of our horse thou art, and we, great in our hope, lay our best love and credence upon thy promising fortune.
Sir, it is a charge too heavy for my strength, but yet we'll strive to bear it for your worthy sake to the extreme edge of hazard.
Then go thou forth, and fortune play upon thy prosperous helm, as thy auspicious mistress.
This very day, great Mars, I put myself into thy file. Make me but like my thoughts, and I shall prove a lover of thy drum and hater of love.
If you misdoubt me that I am not she, I know not how I shall assure you further.
Though my estate be fallen, I was well born, and would not put my reputation now in any staining act.
Take this purse of gold, and let me buy your friendly help thus far. The Count, he woos your daughter, lays down his wanton siege before her beauty, resolved to carry her. Let her in fine consent, as will direct her how 'tis best to bear it. Now his important blood will not deny that she'll demand a ring the country wears, that downward hath succeeded in his house. This ring he holds in most rich choice, yet in his idle fire, to buy his will, it will not seem too dear, however repented after.
Now I see the bottom of your purpose.
You see it lawful then. It is no more but that your daughter, ere she seems as one, desires this ring, appoints him an encounter, in fine, delivers me to fill the time. Herself most chastely absent. After this, to marry her, I'll add 3,000 crowns to what is past already.
I have yielded. Instruct my daughter now how she shall persever. Every night he comes with musics of all sorts and songs composed to her unworthiness.
Why then tonight, let us essay our plot, which if its speed is wicked meaning in a lawful deed, and lawful meaning in a lawful act, where both not sin and yet a sinful fact, but let's about it.
Scene 13, Nightlight. Enter Bertram below and Diana on the balcony.
They told me that your name was Fontainebleau?
No, my good lord. Diana.
Titled goddess, and worth it with addition. But, fair soul, in your fine frame hath love no quality? When you are dead, you should be such a one as you are now, for you are cold and stern. And now you should be as your mother was when your sweet self was got.
She then was honest.
So should you be.
No, my mother did but a duty, such, my lord, as you owe your wife.
No more that. I prithee do not strive against my vows. I was compelled to her, but I love thee by love's own sweet constraint, and will forever do thee all rights of service.
Aye, so you serve us till we serve you. But when you have our roses, you barely leave our thorns to prick ourselves and mock us with our bareness.
How have I sworn?
'Tis not the many oaths that make the truth, but the plain single vow that is vowed true. Therefore, your oaths are words and poor conditions, but unsealed, at least in my opinion.
Change it, be not so wholly cruel. Stand no more off, but give thyself unto my sick desires, who then recover, say thou art mine, and ever my love as it begins shall persever.
Give me that ring.
I'll lend it thee, my dear, but have no power to give it from me.
Will you not, my lord?
It is an honor longing to our house, bequeathed down from many ancestors, which were the greatest obloquy in the world in me to lose.
Mine honors such a ring. My chastity's the jewel of our house, bequeathed down from many ancestors, which were the greatest obloquy in the world in me to lose.
Here, take my ring. My house, mine honor, yea, my life be thine, and I'll be bid by thee.
When midnight comes, knock at my chamber window. I'll order take my mother shall not hear. Now, will I charge you in the band of truth. When you have conquered my yet maiden bed, remain there but an hour, nor speak to me. My reasons are most strong, and you shall know them when back again this ring shall be delivered. And on your finger in the night I'll put another ring, that, when time proceeds, may token the future our past deeds. Adieu, till then fail not. You have won a wife of me, though there my hope be done.
Heaven on earth I have won by wooing thee.
For which love long, and to thank both heaven and me. You may so in the end. My mother told me just how he would woo, as if she sat in his heart. She says all men have the like oaths. He had sworn to marry me when his wife's dead. Therefore, I'll lie with him when I'm buried.
Scene 14. Enter Lord Dumaine and Captain Dumaine.
In the meantime, what hear you of these wars?
I hear there is an overture of peace.
Nay, I assure you, a peace concluded.
What will Count Roussillon do then? Will he travel higher or return again into France?
I perceive by this demand you are not altogether of his counsel.
Let it forbid, sir, so should I be a great deal of his act.
Sir, his wife some 2 months since fled from his house. Her pretence is a pilgrimage to Saint-Jacques-le-Grand, which holy undertaking with most austere sanctimony she accomplished. And there residing, the tenderness of her nature became as a prey to her grief. In fine, made a groan of her last breath, and now she sings in heaven.
Hath the Count all this intelligence?
Aye.
I am heartily sorry that he'll be glad of this.
Here's his lordship now. How now, my lord? Is it not after midnight?
I have tonight dispatched 16 businesses a month's length apiece. I conjived with the Duke, done my adieu with his nearest, buried a wife, mourned for her, writ to my lady mother I am returning, entertained my convoy, and between these main parcels of dispatch effected many nicer needs. The last was the greatest, but that I have not ended yet.
If the business be of any difficulty, and this morning your departure hence, it requires haste of your lordship.
I mean, the business is not ended as fearing to hear the hereafter.
Scene 15. Enter Helena, widow, and Diana.
That you may well perceive I have not wronged you. One of the greatest in the Christian world shall be my surety, for whose throne is needful time. Time was, I did ere I can, let me take it back. Shall be my surety, for whose throne 'tis needful, ere I can perfect mine intents to kneel. Time was, I did him a desired office, dear almost as his life, which gratitude through flinty Tartar's bosom would peer forth, and answer thanks, I dully am informed. His grace is at Marseilles, to which place we have convenient convoy. You must know, I am supposed dead. The army breaking my husband's tie hies him here home, where heaven aiding, and by the leave of my good lord the king will be before our welcome.
Gentlewoman, you never had a servant whose trust your business was more welcome.
Scene 16. Flourish. Enter King, Countess, Lefeu, the 2 French lords with attendant. The king and countess sit at a bench center.
We lost a jewel of her, and our esteem was made much poorer by it. But your son, as mad in folly, lacked the sense to know her estimation home.
'Tis past, my liege, and I beseech your majesty to make it natural rebellion, done in the blaze of youth, when oil and fire, too strong for reason's force, o'erbears it and turns it on.
I have forgiven and forgotten all. Let him approach, a stranger, no offender, and inform him, so 'tis our will he should.
I shall, my liege.
What says he to your daughter? Have you spoke?
All that he is hath reference to your kingdom.
Then shall we have a match? I have letters sent me that set him high in fame.
Enter Bertram, Captain Dumaine.
He looks well on it.
I am not a day of season, for thou mayst see a sunshine and a hail in me at once, but to the brightest beams distracted clouds give way. So stand thou forth, the time is fair again.
My high repentant blames, dear sovereign, pardon to me.
All is whole. Not one word more of the consumed time. Let's take the instant by the forward top, for we are old, and on our quickst decrees the inaudible and noiseless foot of time steals ere we can effect them. You remember the daughter of this lord?
Admiringly, my liege, at first I stuck my choice upon her, ere my heart durst make too bold a herald of my tongue, where the impression of mine eye in fixing contempt his scornful perspective did lend me. Thence it came, that she whom all men praised, and whom myself, since I have lost, have loved, was in mine eye the dust did offend it.
Well excused. That thou didst love her strikes some scores away from the great compt, but love that comes too late, like a remorseful pardon slowly carried, to the great sender turns a sour offense, crying, "That's good, that's gone." Be this sweet Helen's knell, and now forget her. Send forth your amorous token for fair Maudlin. The main consents are had, and here we'll stay to see our widower's second marriage day.
Which better than the first, dear heaven bless, or ere they meet in me, O nature cess.
Come on, my son, in whom my house's name must be digested. Give a favor from you to sparkle in the spirits of my daughter, that she may quickly come.
Bertram gives a ring.
By my old beard, and every hair that's on it, Helen, that's dead, was a sweet creature. Such a ring as this, the last that ere I took her leave at court, I saw upon her finger.
Hers it was not.
Now, pray you, let me see it. Why, this ring was mine, and when I gave it, Helen, I bade her, if her fortunes ever stood necessitied to help, that by this token I would relieve her. Had you that craft to reave her of what should stead her most?
My gracious sovereign, howe'er it pleases you to take it so, the ring was never hers.
Son, on my life, I have seen her wear it.
I am sure I saw her wear it.
You are deceived, my lord. She never saw it. In Florence was it from a casement thrown me, wrapped in paper, which contained the name of her that threw it. Noble she was, and thought I stood ungagged.
Plutus himself, that knows the tinct and multiplying medicine, hath not in nature's mystery more science than I have in this ring. 'Twas mine, 'twas Helen's, whoever gave it you. Confess 'twas hers, and by what rough enforcement you got it from her. She called the saints to surety that she would never put it from her finger unless she gave it to yourself in bed, where you have never come or scented us upon her great disaster.
She never saw it.
Thou speak'st it falsely, as I love mine honor, and makest conjectural fears to come into me, which I would fain shut out. If I should prove that thou art so inhuman, 'twill not prove so, and yet I know not. Thou didst hate her deadly, and she is dead, which nothing but to close her eyes myself could win me to believe more than to see this ring. Take him away. Away with him, we'll sift this matter further.
If you shall prove this ring was ever hers, you shall as easy prove that I husbanded her bed in Florence, where yet she never was.
I am wrapped in dismal thinkings.
Scene 17. Enter Widow and Diana.
What woman's that?
I am, my lord, a wretched Florentine derived from the ancient Capulet. My suit, as I do understand you know, and therefore know how far I may be pitied. I am her mother, sir, whose age and honor both suffer under this complaint we bring, and both shall cease without your remedy.
Come hither, Count. Do you know these women?
My lord, I neither can nor will deny but that I know them. Do they charge me further?
Why do you look so strange upon your wife?
She's none of mine, my lord.
If you shall marry, you give away this hand, and that is mine. You give away heaven's vows, and those are mine.
Your reputation comes too short for my daughter. You are no husband of hers.
My lord, this is a fond and desperate creature whom sometimes I've laughed with. Let your highness lay a more noble thought upon mine honor than for her to think that I would sink it here.
Sir, for my thoughts you have them ill to friend till your deeds gain them. Fairer prove your honor than in my thought it lies.
Good my lord, ask him upon his oath if he does think he had not my virginity.
What sayst thou to her?
She's impudent, my lord, and was a common gamester to the camp.
He does me wrong, my lord. If I were so, he might have bought me at a common price. Do not believe him. Oh, behold this ring, whose high respect and rich validity did lack a parallel. Yet, for all that, he gave it to a commoner of the camp, if I be one?
He blushes, and 'tis it. of 6 preceding ancestors, that gem, conferred by testament to the sequent issue, hath it been owed and worn. This is his wife. That rings 1,000 proofs.
Methought you said you saw one here in court could witness it.
I did. My lord, his name's Parolles.
I saw that man today, if man he be.
Find him and bring him hither.
Scene 18.
What of him? He's quoted for a most perfidious slave whose nature sickens, but to speak a truth. Am I or that or this for what he'll utter?
She hath that ring of yours.
I think she has. Certain it is I liked her, and boarded her in the wanton way of youth. She knew her distance, and did angle for me, madding my eagerness with her restraint. And in fine, her infinite cunning with her modern grace subdued me to her rate. She got the ring, and I had that which any inferior might at marketplace have bought.
I must be patient. Send for your ring. I will return it home and give me mine again.
I have it not.
What ring was yours, I pray you?
Sir, much like the same upon your finger.
Knowst you this ring? This ring was his of late.
And this was it I gave him, being abed.
The story then goes false. You threw it him out of a casement.
I have spoke the truth.
My lord, I do confess the ring was hers.
Enter Parolles.
You boggle shrewdly, every feather starts you. Is this the man you speak of?
Aye, my lord.
Tell me, sirrah, but tell me true. I charge you by him and this woman here, what know you?
So please your majesty, my master hath been an honorable gentleman. Tricks he hath had in him, which gentlemen have.
Come, to the purpose. Did he love this woman?
Faith, sir, he did love her, but how?
How, I pray you?
He did love her, sir, as a gentleman loves a woman.
How is that?
He loved her, sir, and loved her not.
Do you know he promised me marriage?
Faith, I know more than I'll speak.
But wilt thou not speak all thou knowest?
Yes, so please your majesty. I did go between them, as I said, but more than that, he loved her. For indeed he was mad for her, and talked of Satan, and of limbo, and of furies, and I know not what. I was in that credit with them at the time that I knew of their going to bed, and of other things which would drive me ill will to speak of.
Thou hast spoken all already, unless thou canst say they are married. But thou art too fine in thy evidence, therefore stand aside. This ring, you say, was yours.
Aye, my good lord.
Where did you buy it, or who gave it you?
It was not given me, nor did I buy it.
Where did you find it, then?
I found it not.
If it were yours by none of all these ways, how could you give it him?
I never gave it him.
This woman's an easy glove, my lord. She goes off and on at pleasure.
This ring was mine. I gave it his first wife.
It might be yours or hers, for aught I know.
Oh, take her away. I do not like her now. To prison with her, and away with him. Unless thou tell'st me where thou hadst this ring, thou diest within this hour.
I'll never tell you.
Take her away.
I'll be put in bail, my liege.
I think thee now some common customer.
By Jove, if I ever knew a man, 'twas you.
Wherefore hast thou accused him all this while?
Because he's guilty. And he is not guilty. He knows I am no maid, and he'll swear to it. I'll swear I am a maid, and he knows not. Great king, I am no strumpet, by my life.
She does abuse our ears. To prison with her.
Good mother, fetch my bail. Stay, royal sir. The jeweler that owes this ring is sent for, and he shall surety me. But for this lord, who hath abused me as he knows himself, though yet he never harmed me, here I quit him. He knows himself my bed he hath defiled, and at that time he got his wife with child.
Scene 19. Re-enter widow with Helena.
Is there no exorcist beguiles the truer office of mine eyes? Is 't real that I see?
No, my good lord, 'tis but the shadow of a wife you see, the name and not the thing.
Both. Oh, pardon.
Oh, my good lord, when I was like this maid, I found you wondrous kind. There is your ring. And look you, here's your letter. This it says, when from my finger you can get this ring and are by me with child, etc. This is done. Will you be mine, now you are doubly one?
If she, my liege, can make me know this clearly, I'll love her dearly, ever, ever dearly.
If it appear not plain and prove untrue, deadly divorce step between me and you. Oh, my dear mother, do I see you living?
My eyes smell onions. I shall weep anon.
Let us from point to point this story know, to make the even truth in pleasure flow. If thou be'st yet a fresh uncropped flower, choose thou thy husband, and I'll pay thy dower, for I can guess that by thy honest aid thou kept'st a wife herself, thyself a maid.
The king comes down. Epilogue.
The king's a beggar now. The play is done. All is well ended if this suit be won. That you express content, which we will pay with strife to please you, day exceeding day. Ours be your patience then, and yours our parts. Your gentle hands lend us, and take our hearts. That's it.